Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy Boxing Day if you're watching this now. I hope you had a great Christmas. I'm obviously filming these in advance, so anything could have happened. But if you want to see the first part of this, I will link that for you below. I talked about base, setting sprays, concealers, all of that kind of stuff. We're going to get into colour. Now it's going to be the second half of my 2021 beauty favourites. Let's jump into it because this is going to be long. I've got a lot of stuff around me. So I started the year pretty heavily into cream stuff. The Glow Cherie from L'Oreal, I do have one thing to kind of note about this, and that is a friend of mine purchased it and she was super not into it because of how it felt on her skin. She said that it was really stinging and she thought that she was getting kind of like a reaction to this. I'm like, oh, that seems crazy. And then one day when my skin was a little bit sensitive, I put it on and it was stinging my face. So there's something in this that might not be for you if you have got sensitive skin. I don't know what the ingredient is specifically because I wouldn't even say it's alcohol because I'm fine with that usually. But there's definitely something in this. It could even be the fragrance that may not be for you, but it's got such a beautiful glow. I will use this as a highlight. I'll use this underneath my foundation on its own with just some concealer. It's really, really pretty. Bear in mind, I have lots of other products on underneath this. But a gorgeous, gorgeous sheen and a lot of product. A couple of cream blushes. The Dusk Cloud Paint was, I mean, I could have gone with Beam maybe, but I had to go with the Glossier. I did a whole video about what are these called? What are these called? Cream blushes, liquid cream, whatever. I think I only did budget ones at the time, but I was so not into a cream blush for the longest time. And then this year I really, really became a little bit obsessed. And this blends, of all of the ones I have, I think the Cloud Paint blends the most well. Like the nice, look how beautiful. And you only need the very, very, very tiniest amount. But before the Cloud Paint made its resurgence, I had this, which is the Milk Makeup Stick in Work, the lip and cheek stick. Lots of people on YouTube talked about this last year because it was in a Sephora, like they were giving it away at Sephora with your beauty card. And we'd just come back from New York in January and I'd got this and it is really, really nice. It's again, really nice to work with. It's a bit stickier though than the Cloud Paint. I think that's what you get when you get like a lip and cheek. It has to be a little stickier to work for both. But I really liked the colour of this one, Work. You can get this in a large size. I'm not sure if you can buy the minis. But I honestly, this is not a lot of product. And I use this a lot. Actually, do you know what? This is loads of product. But I use this a lot and I barely touched it. So if you can buy the minis, if you could get a set of the minis, that would be a really, really good deal. But I like these, and both of these have got decent staying power for a cream blush. Later in the year came this. I was sent some things from Fenty, and this was in there. I would never have picked this up because I would have said, this is going to be like the Chanel, the bronzer Chanel that everyone loved. I bought that, hated it, didn't think I was going to be into this at all. Let me show you. It's not crazy, it's not too dark, and again, this is over the top of other things, including powders, so don't judge it too harshly. But I just loved this. It was like, look how nice. The colour is Butter Biscuit, which is 02. It was just kind of like a little of something. It wasn't too dark. It's got a bit of a sheen to it. Again, blends really, really nicely. I use this with a brush, which is why there's some brush hairs in there, because this is real life makeup someone uses. I just kind of buff it out here. I'm not wearing it today because my skin is having a moment and it's very, very dry. So I had to use cream products and then powder over the top. Otherwise I would have just, my skin is literally falling off my face. So all around here, I'll use it. Sometimes I use it on my eyes. It is so, so nice. And probably something that I was using daily for at least a couple of months this year. The powder bronzer that is still my favorite, time after time I go back to this, is the Too Faced chocolate bronzer. I have light medium in this matte bronzer. I like the light medium because it's not too dark. Again, it builds up really nicely. I don't have to worry too much about being very heavy-handed because I tend to be, and it's really not too much of anything. There you go. A little bit warmer than the Butter bronzer, I would say, from Fenty. But nice, again, I can kind of build it up to something is what I want. And I've also been known to use this on my eyes as well. It does smell really strongly of chocolate though. That might not be for you. To me, it smells exactly like those cupcake dolls that we had when we were kids. 2 more powder products that I have loved and loved and loved. This has been a long, like I talk about these all the time for years now. This is the Dim Light from Hourglass. It's a mini. I'm gonna need a new one soon because I've massively hit pan, and that does not happen very often for me. There's very, very little left of this. This is the most beautiful sheen that there has ever been. I don't think there's ever going to be a highlighter that I like more than this. And honestly, I don't even know if you can technically call it a highlighter. I'm looking for some space. Because really, I mean, you can't really see that, can you? This is not going to show up in this light, but it's just a sheen. Can you see? It's just a sheen. It just makes your skin look glowy. I think they were sold as setting powders. So basically, how I use that is here. I'll do like forehead, kind of T-zone, and then I put it here under my eyes. It's not like a frosty highlighter. It's not giving you kind of like a massive glow. It's just a sheen. It just makes you look super, super like healthy. Can't get enough of it. And also, of course, NARS Sex Appeal Blush, made famous by me and Blake Lively. This is a really, really soft pink. It's just impossible to dupe. I have tried. Super soft. Again, if you are worried about being heavy-handed, this is not something you need to worry about because where is it? It really needs to be applied with a brush. It's not possible to swatch this, I swear. But you can tell once I put it on my face. Can you see it? Can you tell? I can tell. I feel like this is like an Emperor's New Clothes situation. And you're watching this like, she's gone bananas. Imagine if that's just like a really long prank I've been pulling. I think there's nothing there at all. Eyeshadow palettes. So I'm going to mention 4. They're almost the same, truly. I could probably just do with like 1 or 2 of these, if not just 1. So I have been using this one from MAC that I created. The majority of what I've been using is Satin Taupe, really. Satin Taupe, I think this is Satin. Do you know what? I've got a blog post where I've swatched each of these and it's all marked so you can see what each of this is. But Satin Taupe is the one that I reached for the most. I liked that as an all-over colour. So all over the lid, smudge it underneath the eye, do a little bit of powder liner, and that was a really easy smoky eye. So it wasn't the palette so much as one particular shade. In recent months, you will have seen me using this a lot. This is the Viseart palette. It is Neutrals Matte 01. This was sent to me, and for years, I didn't use it because I was like, this is so expensive. Number one, I can't, in good faith, recommend this because it's so expensive, and it doesn't matter how great it is. I'm never going to tell you that it's like worth your money because I don't think that it is. But I had to mention this because I have been using it, and it really is fantastic. The mattes in here are incredible. Matte is often a difficult formula. I'm making a mistake, so I'm going to have to go and wash my hands now. But it's a difficult formula to pull off and make like really creamy and easy to blend. But these are incredible. And if you were just going to buy one palette and you wanted to splurge, I'm tempted to say it would be worth it. Because if you consider how much more money you would spend on lots of different ones looking for exactly what you're looking for, if you want something that you know is going to work every time, maybe it is worth spending that little bit of extra money. For me, it's not, but that's because I'm someone who wants lots of little things. If you just have one, then I could justify the cost a little bit more. The e.l.f. New Classics palette I had to mention. I got this last year. I haven't used it tons and tons, but it's definitely one of my most used. It's very neutral, but there are some colours in there. Lots of mattes, which I really, really enjoy. And because I like to do a powder liner, I like that there are a lot of dark colours that I can pull for that in amongst a lot of bright colours. I can pretty much get any look that I would want to get from this. And lastly, I have this. I never remember what these were called. Like little mini, I'm not going to remember. It's called Cream and Sugar, this particular palette, but I can never remember what these are called. Like little Snap-its or... no, something. I had a couple of these, but this one I used the most, not the middle shades. I was doing this on my lid, and then this is my powder liner. And that was the beginning of the year for me. The majority of the time, if I was doing eyeshadow, I was doing this. I'm going to talk about brushes separately, but I have these brushes here just to talk about powder liner because I might just do a video. I know not a lot of people will watch it, but it'll be useful for those of you who are actually interested. So these are the brushes that I would use for powder liner. And I would use a matte, preferably very, very deep brown shade like this, or a black, but usually a matte brown. Which brush I use is just total preference at the time. At the moment, I'm really, really enjoying this one. There was a time where this is the only one I would use. And again, this one. This one I would say is the one that kicks up the most. So if you're worried about fallout, I'd say I get the most fallout from this brush. Each of them, if you wet the brush before you go in, you're gonna get a deeper line and you're gonna get no fallout at all. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. I will use a brush like this and literally just smudge that along my lash line instead of an eyeliner. Now, that's not going to last forever, but eyeliner doesn't last forever in my opinion. Let me just show you how how much more precise this one's been recently. I think you get a finer line with that. And it's easier to kind of put along your lash line as well. You can almost stamp. I really, really am enjoying this one. It doesn't matter where you get the brushes from. You can always get brushes that are shaped like these. This little tiny liner brush. This is really kind of like an angled eye or brow brush, and this is an angled, this is actually the Morphe M217 if you're interested. But again, you can get brushes like this from anywhere. And if you do want like more of a traditional eyeliner look, but you do want to do it with powder because it's easier, you can get a darker effect. It's also going to last a little bit longer if you do it this way. And you can also put the powder liner on top afterwards, like the dry powder liner, if you want to like seal it in. The only thing I would say if you are going to do this, of course I'm sure you've thought of it, but if this is also a powder that you want to use as a regular eyeshadow as well, just choose a tiny corner like this one, like just choose a tiny corner to do that in, and always do it in the same corner, because it will change the way that you can use the powder. It will become like harder and it will become less nice to blend as an actual eyeshadow. So if this is an eyeshadow you want to use as an eyeshadow as well, just pick a corner to do a wet brush liner in. Lastly for this, I want to talk about an actual eyeliner I've been really enjoying. This came in a set of 3. This is from Physicians Formula. This is the matte one. I cannot find the others. And this is a really nice alternative to a kohl, which I don't enjoy personally. You can still smudge it a little bit, but it is really more of a once it's on kind of liner. Money is, yeah, you, I'm talking about you. Money is really upping the snoring now. He's being ignored and it shall not stand. I don't film in the living room very much anymore, partially for this reason. I wanted to film in front of the Christmas tree, even though you've barely seen it in this video. And so that's why we have a snory dog in the background. But some of you, I know, will have missed him. While we're on eyes, I'm only talking about 2 mascara products, and that is the Lash Sensational Primer and the Lash Sensational, because I'm not interested in any others. I've tried others, they're fine. These are the absolute best. If you had one of them, get a primer, and then you can use pretty much anything on top. But really, the 2 things together are a powerhouse. I love them so much. I don't find them too, like, crazy as it is, the white mascara, because do you remember back in the day when you would use the white mascara, like the L'Oreal double-ended thing? You could never cover the white mascara with the black. I don't know what's changed, but that's not a thing anymore. So I can leave this to dry completely, and I can still cover it with no effort. Just do mascara normally over the top, and I never can see any white. So I don't understand what's different, but it is different. But I like to usually leave this to almost dry before I put my mascara on, and that's the best look, because it's almost like layering and layering and layering mascara, but not really. You don't get that same clumpy look. I get really kind of, it is like false lash effect for me, and I'm not going to do false lashes on the reg because it's not my vibe. I'm not going to be bothered to do that. But these are just, you knew this was going to, if you watched any of my videos, you knew these were going to be the things I would talk about. So it's not a surprise. Right, while we're kind of still talking about brushes, I'll just cover the ones that have been my most used. I'll start with the most expensive because I cannot recommend this because it was so expensive. It again was sent to me. It was an Hourglass brush. It has no numbers on it, so I don't know. But I looked it up and it was astronomical. So I'll show you it because I get a lot of questions when I use it. What is that brush that you used? It's a very expensive brush and I don't think that you need it. This side is really similar to a Real Techniques blush brush, and this side I had a MAC brush that was similar to it. You just kind of need something like it's a small blush brush. It's nice, I have it so I use it. I'm not necessarily recommending it because this, however, this was sent to me years ago. This I would buy again in a heartbeat because I actually think that this is a bit special. So this is the IT Cosmetics Heavenly Looks Complexion Perfection number 7 brush, and this is the all over, this is the conceal. This is fantastic. This There's something about the density of this, the way it's made up, actually is better than any of the other foundation brushes that I've got. Buffs out really nicely. I use this for foundation, I use it for cream products, I even use it for powder sometimes when I want a slightly heavier blush or highlight. It just buffs really, really nicely. It's a real multitasker. If I lost all of my brushes tomorrow, I would buy this again in a heartbeat. And you can tell by some of these, I'm really into the buffing. This is the Deluxe Crease Brush from Real Techniques. I use this for like an all-over eyeshadow. I like this for creams and stuff. I like it for like blending my crease after I've gone a bit mad like I have today with something a bit dark. This I like because again, it's like kind of like a miniature version of that one from, where's it gone? Of that one from It Cosmetics. But unlike the one that comes on the end of the It Cosmetics, this one from Morphe is a bit more dense. So if I need to kind of like really pack it on, like if I've got a breakout or something, this is just gonna really pack on that concealer, that powder, that whatever it is. It's a really nice kind of touch-up brush. Like today, I've got like some redness on the end of my nose. I've done all of the rest of my makeup and I just needed to put a little bit more on, and this is a great brush for that. And then the last brush that I use every single day is the setting brush from Real Techniques. I use this for powder, I use this for highlight. I mostly use this for, I do my powder here, I do my powder across here, I do my powder here, and then I'll go and do my highlight, and I'm like, highlight, 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 done. Again, a brush I would buy immediately because I couldn't do without it. Is it possible we've only got lips left? Because I feel like I've been talking for a billion years. But yeah, I think we're finally there. So I've really narrowed this down. And I feel like some of you will probably think, but you didn't mention this, you didn't mention this. Feel free, because I'm sure I've forgotten things. Lips is so hard. I'll go through phases of wearing the same lipstick for like weeks and then I forget about it completely. So what I've done is pulled things that I know I liked at the beginning of this year and I know I still really, really like now, and I've used them consistently. So I've got 2 lip liners. Again, I know I've used others, but I've got 2 lip liners. This Urban Decay Glide On lip liner in Weirdo, which is a beautiful peachy colour that is here. I love this so much. Really, really beautiful colour. And I love the Urban Decay lip liners. I like the texture, they last so well. And then the other one, of course, is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, which I will swatch alongside it. And it is, of course, the Your Lips But Better. See, this is just like a more fun version. But this is when I want to do a really, really natural lip. I'll often use that and nothing over the top. Again, a gorgeous texture, and they are my absolute most used lip liners of the year. Then I have these are my most used colours, but I have lots of colours of these. These are the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink. I wanted to show you these. I spoke about them in a recent favourites, but I wanted to show you, I need to find a bit of hand. I wanted to show you them because, I mean, I like them on their own. I've used this one quite a bit recently. I think it's called Amazonian. This one I really do like. It's like a kind of a brick brownish colour. And then this one's called Dreamer, which again, I do like on its own, but a bit pink for me. But what I particularly like to do is mix them together and I get this kind of perfect neutral, which I mean is not a million miles away from this. I'm almost trying to make Pillow Talk into a liquid lip. Mix them together and that is ideal. Very, very thin layer. Don't go too heavy because they will kind of crumble a little bit, but they last so well. I'm sure the full size of this is in a handbag somewhere, but I cannot put my finger on it, so I'm just going to use this miniature to tell you that I'm still obsessed with the Dior Lip Maximiser as a day-to-day. Haven't really had much use for it this year because, again, masks and gloss don't really match. But even in the house, and sometimes just when I'm filming, I'll just put this on instead of anything else, and it just makes my normal lips look nicer without it being kind of sticky and gloopy. It's just a nice somewhere between a gloss and a balm. It's called a lip maximizer, but I've never found that it's got any kind of plumping properties, FYI. And then lastly, I've got this NARS Velvet Lip Glide in Bound. Now, I don't know if you can still get this anymore because, again, I haven't checked, but I go back to this time and time again. It's so beautiful. It's like kind of like a plummy, it's just such a good shade. It works every time. Every time I want to put it on, it doesn't matter what eyeshadow I've got on, I'm like, yes, This is a really good standby, always works for me colour. And again, it's something between a lipstick and a gloss. It dries down or like fades, what do I mean? Like the finish kind of fades away to a really nice flattering balm look. It doesn't ever kind of wear away to something really ugly. I just love it so much. And if this is still available, I'll link it below because it is, you will not regret this. It is a really gorgeous lip product. And incredibly, I think that is it. I think we finally got through everything. I am going to talk, oh my goodness, I've just got stuff everywhere now. I am going to talk about skincare and hair care in a separate video next week, so look out for that. But I really wanted to get through all of these in one sitting. My knees are really not having a good time right now. I'm not even sitting on my knees. I'm just sitting. I'm not even sitting cross-legged. My knees and my hips. I'm going to be 36 this year and I feel like I'm going to be 85. Sitting on the floor is no longer my friend. That is not a favourite of 2021. So, as I said, I'll try and link everything that I can find below. I know it's been a lot and I'm not always the best at linking, but I will list and link what is possible to list and link. I will also link the previous video if you want to look at my base and stuff like that, because I know this has probably been a longer one. But thank you for watching. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. We have some changes for the new year, which we will be talking about shortly. And I am still going to be vlogging over on my other channel in 2022, but it's been a year. It's been a year of ups and downs. Let's have more ups in the next one.